Hi everyone. Thank you for attending the third video of the Synology Solution Seminars YouTube playlist. Again, my name is Marcus Cohn. I am a sales manager with Synology, and today we will be discussing storage for large organizations and the way Synology fits into this solution. When implementing storage into a large organization, there are always going to be some challenges that you have to overcome in order to make sure that the implementation itself is successful. The core of all of these challenges comes back to the fact that there are going to be lots of users. You need to be able to fit into an existing IT environment, as many large organizations already have IT environments in place with many users. And as additional users are added, performance needs to be tuned to make sure that each user has the same level of performance they're looking for. As deployment continues to scale, the IT department itself needs to be more efficient with the technical support requests that employees send them. And any good IT manager is going to be concerned about security, especially as they continue to add users. Synology actually fits very well into this solution. You're able to join a Synology NAS with a Windows domain. You're able to do considerable performance tuning of the unit itself. We offer many different IT self-service measures, and security concerns become security solutions. So we're going to start off with discussing ADS and permission control. Synology NAS units are fully integrated with Windows Active Directory and can currently support up to 100,000 domain user and group accounts. You can change application permission by either user, group, or IP address, and can even configure shared folder permissions for domain users directly on your NAS. You're also able to automatically map network drives if needed, and it is fully supported by Windows ACL. So when implementing a Synology NAS into a large organization, there are going to be a couple different performance tuning options available that you can use in order to get the most performance out of your unit as possible. So as many of us already know, better hardware will always be an option. You can always go with a higher end CPU as well as an increased RAM to allow for more connections and more overall performance. But what if you're not seeing too much of an issue with the hardware itself, but more with the network bandwidth? We are actually able to utilize link aggregation to increase the bandwidth of the unit. And as many of us already do know as well, with a traditional RAID setup, in order to get more performance out of the storage, you just add more spinning disks. But with Synology NAS units, you can actually utilize SSD caching, so instead of implementing more spinning disks, you just implement this SSD cache. We're going to highlight some performance tuning options here, and we're going to start off with link aggregation. So let's say we have 20 computers all connected to a network switch with a 1 gig connection. Now this same 1 gig connection is going to a Synology NAS. As you can see, this 1 gig connection from the switch to the NAS is a bottleneck. It's giving each computer an effective bandwidth of about 50 megabits per second. But what if we implemented link aggregation? So we have the same 20 computers, each with that 1 gig link, and we still have the same network switch. But what if we implemented 10 gig as well as link aggregation? So as you can see, we had two 10 gig ports and have link aggregated those together. And this gives each of the computers an effective bandwidth of about 1,000 megabits per second, or that full 1 gig that you're looking for. So as you can see, link aggregation can drastically increase the network throughput of your unit for very little overhead. We also want to highlight SSD caching, as in many cases you can see a huge performance increase of your unit when implementing this technology. Now traditionally, to increase I/O, you would add mechanical drives, as I mentioned before. However, SSD caching uses the higher I/O of the SSDs to accelerate the access to your most used data. By using SSD caching, you can maintain the higher capacity of mechanical drives while utilizing the I/O of SSDs. There are actually two different ways you can implement an SSD cache. You can have one SSD, which will be a read-only cache, or two or more, which will be a read-write cache. You can currently use up to 12 SSDs in a single cache. And you may be wondering to yourself, well, that's all great information, but how do I know how much SSD cache I need? Well, we actually have a very cool tool called the SSD Cache Advisor. This is an entirely free tool that will monitor the access patterns of your data and to determine how big of an SSD cache you will need. Now that you've utilized the performance tuning options with Synology NAS devices, you now need to start worrying about how your IT admins will handle this large amount of users and their support requests. Luckily, Synology offers many different self-service options for IT clients so they can do a lot of the work themselves. In my experience, IT admins spend far too much time recovering accidentally deleted files. But with a Synology NAS, that does not need to be the case. Synology offers you the ability to restore full files directly through Windows Explorer, or you can even utilize our inbuilt recycle bin. We offer the ability for users to reset their forgotten passwords via email, and instead, you as the IT admin can just configure the password strength rules to make sure your NAS is as secure as possible. Users can create their own file sharing requests directly through DSM, either on the file or the folder level. And we even offer a very cool tool for IT admins to analyze the overall storage usage of their NAS. This is called the Storage Analyzer. This allows you to analyze the overall storage usage before a full problem occurs. So let's say you have one client who is using 20 gigs of data, while the other client is only using 10. This allows you to see that in a graphical form and get an idea over what is going on so you can take action. So we've discussed ADS and permission control, we've discussed performance tuning, and we've discussed IT self-service. But as we come to the last section of the large organization deployment, we come to the security portion. Now, security is always going to be something that is on everyone's mind, as you don't want to have prying eyes on your data. Because of this, Synology released a very useful tool called the Security Advisor. What this does is it just fully audits the security of your NAS. It checks for the full system configuration and whether or not you need to close specific ports, enable HTTPS, or anything along those lines, and will even check for weak passwords on a user basis. After that point, it will then give you a report on the overall security of your unit. So it is a very useful tool if you want to get a good general idea of the security of your unit. Coupled with that, we offer many different features. We offer IP auto block, so if you have a malicious attack on your unit that is trying to get in repeatedly, you can easily block that automatically. We offer two-factor authentication utilizing one of the various apps that you want to use. We at Synology offer a full antivirus suite, as well as are compatible with McAfee antivirus, which is downloadable from the package center. Synology NAS devices can meet HIPAA compliance when configured correctly, and we do offer full AES encryption on the shared folder level. We also partner with QualisGuard Security Scan, who every year will come through and scan our DSM, tell us either what we're doing right or what we need to improve on. And with that, we're going to wrap up the third video of the Synology Solutions Seminars YouTube playlist. In this video, we discussed the implementation of a Synology NAS into a large organization and the various challenges associated with that. We discussed ADS and permission control, performance tuning, IT self-service, and security of your unit. Again, my name is Marcus Cohn. Thank you so much for listening today. We're going to go ahead and jump right into the fourth video here, so sit tight. We got a couple more coming.